In a world of shadows where secrets hide, COTI's got your back, a seamless ride. Fast and secure, no fear inside. Your data's locked tight, shining bright. Whispers fade, replaced by beats. Privacy on demand, a future feed. Through the wires, freedom streams. COTI's the answer to your dreams. Your data's safe, no need to adjust. Fast, secure, compliant, we stand. Welcome to privacy on demand. Dirty man. Step forward, the world unites. COTI's spark ignites the night. Encrypted dreams in a digital dance. Through every beat we take a chance. A brighter tomorrow at your command. This is the age of privacy on demand. Feel the rhythm, feel the trust. Your data safe, no need to adjust. Fast, secure, compliant, we stand. Welcome to privacy on demand. Yeah, I do my
What's up, guys, and welcome to the 22nd episode of the second season of COTI Confidential. I am here with Soren. How's it going, sir?
Good evening, everyone. It's all good. It's all good. Well,
you know what,
almost
Soren?
Say again.
You know what, Soren?
No.
It's podcast time.
It is. It is.
Oh, boy. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But, you know, Soren wanted me to remind and speak about this a little bit. But as we joke around and stuff here and hang out every week, let's remember that there are people in the world who are working under very difficult conditions right now in our ecosystem. So, you know, my heart goes out to them, thinking about them a lot lately. So, you know, it's fine to ask questions and be critical of things, but let's just remember that, you know, what we're all dealing with here. So it's some heavy stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And thoughts and prayers to the whole team. It's a difficult situation, and I think we can all agree that the sooner it calms down a little bit, the happier we will all be. So
yeah. And on that note, you know, quite a bit to talk about right now, not only in our ecosystem and from our CEO, but in the world. But let's kick it off how we usually do with your fantastic weekly update, sir. I'll let you take it over here.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, so it's been a busy week as always. It never slows down anymore. So I think the headline event for the week was Shahaf publishing a very, very long and very extensive blog covering a very large part of the many questions and concerns that the community had raised. He was supposed to have done a video AMA, but obviously it was decided he couldn't do it safely, so we had to take a blog instead. But it was good. I think the overwhelming sentiment that I got back from the comments that I had was that it was good and it was very timely, and also that we need to have this a little bit more often. And I'm happy to say, and Shah have put it in his blog as well, that he completely agrees with that. He understands that he needs to be a little bit more visible and a little bit more regular on interacting with the community. I thought, generally speaking, it was quite bullish. I mean, we can see on a weekly basis just the progress with integrations of partnerships and bringing on new and existing exchanges, and the odd announcement of new partnerships. We can see that it's all progressing, and I think at the same time it's definitely been picked up that there's a lot more focus from industry leaders on privacy as a narrative. I mean, I've noticed CC, who can't seem to stop posting about the bloody stuff, and he obviously runs his own hedge fund or investment company on the side, but he's definitely all over privacy, all over it. So, and I think also, Shah have covered this quite extensively in his blog, that for the longer term, COTI are in all the right places, and they're talking to all the right people, and basically that's all about shaping what privacy in Web3 is going to look like. And we often hear people getting frustrated. Why does COTI go to an event in New York? What the hell? Doesn't pump my bags, doesn't pump the price, doesn't do anything. Well, it won't do that today or tomorrow, but a few years down the line, it'll definitely be a contributing factor when privacy starts to become much more normal in Web3. So, and let's also be a little bit critical. Shah have really teed this one up for us. He acknowledged, and correctly so, that Treasury 2.0 has been a bit of a disappointment so far. So I think Eli made the comment that it was good to see the team owning this mistake, and I think that was a good wording. So I stole that. Sorry. Thanks for that, Eli, and sorry. But what's even better is to see that they're actually doing something about it. So they're building a new treasury from scratch, and I think that's all going to coincide with the nodes ecosystem and GU1 fencing, as we see going to see in the coming months. There's also going to be loads of new partnership announcements coming. I get the distinct feeling that the team is holding off on announcing things that they don't need to announce, because there's really no point in announcing anything when all everyone's worried about is World War III. So anyways, I had a look at our partners as well, because I see quite a few of them on my timeline, especially on the DeFi front. Bancor is growing. It's growing really rapidly, hand over fist, so to speak, both with the ARP Fastlane and Carbon DeFi. Much of that growth, to be fair, is coming on the SEI network, or SEI, I don't know how to pronounce it, SEI network. So that's great. I'm super happy for them, because really proper project, proper supporters of COTI, and lovely, lovely people on top of that. Privex has already reached about 10 million in trading volume just a couple of weeks in from their launch. So I think that's quite amazing. Probably in the big picture is a small number, I know, but you all got to start somewhere. So, and as I've said it many times before, partner success is our success. So all good. Gate.io, ninth largest exchange in the world, now has COTI V2 support. So that's brilliant. More will come. We still have a few of the biggies yet to do the integration. ZNS Connect, BitTrue, and NextC, plus Privex, they're all running competitions where you can earn either cold hard cash or gift cards. So go check out their feeds and see what's in it for you. Crossmint, I spoke a little bit about them last week. So what happened this week, which was actually quite interesting because we talked about them in the context of their previous track record. So they've launched this week in partnership with Farcaster, the World Store mini app, which allows you to access more than 1 billion products on Amazon. And it's all, you can run it manually, you can run it with AI, you can do all sorts of things with it. And I want everyone to keep in mind that Crossmint now have privacy by COTI as a thing in their toolbox. So I think that's super interesting. I think they're going to be, I said it last week and I'll say it again, when we look back further down the line, it's going to be one of the partnerships that we're really happy with. It's going to be a game changer for us. So just to end off, market sentiment is poor. And I wrote this on Friday, but slowly improving. I'm probably going to have to eat those words because it's only gotten worse over the weekend. But there you go. Significant regional geopolitical headwinds and macroeconomics, i.e. interest rates and things like that. It's all very, very challenging. People always talk about a wall of worry and risk sentiment. And we need to keep in mind that crypto and in particular altcoins, they are ultra high risk. So they're going to get dumped first, but that doesn't mean everything else is not going to get dumped. It will. Yeah, if there's a risk, if there's a risk assessment coming out from this weekend that things are going from bad to worse, then everything will dump. So it's not looking good, but through it all, the team at the COTI team, they'll keep building, they'll keep delivering. It gets a little bit bumpy sometimes, but I think, my personal opinion, I think we're starting to see the bigger picture now. So that was a little bit on the weekly update, Tracer.
Excellent as always, man. I really appreciate having that recap. It helps me stay current, especially when I miss something, which you don't seem to do very often.
I got too much time on my hands. I don't know if that's a good thing.
So I'm gonna pull up. Just give me a second here, and I'm gonna pull up this, which I think you guys all know about this. We just talked about it. But look, guys, I know that a lot of us still have questions. This didn't answer everything, but I thought, like you said, Soren and Eli, it was nice to hear them owning what's happening with the Treasury. That's not a great look. But yeah, so in these 10 questions here, he did give a bit of a lengthy reply. But, in our comments here, what are some of the comments, or what are some of the questions that you guys are still waiting to hear about? Because like Soren said, Shahaf is on board with being more connected to the community, and we're going to have more chances to ask him those questions. So what would some of those be? Like, I know Soren's not going to like this because he's sick of hearing about it, but I think it would be nice to have just a couple minutes with Shahaf talking about not just the PPN, but PPNs in general. I think I said this recently, but it's the follow-up questions I think that I'm more interested in is chasing after PPNs now with V2 still a thing? And I know that, in the beginning, we're really trying to push a privacy narrative and garbled circuits, but, from our ecosystem, from words from our ecosystem, people inside the ecosystem who are in BD right now, I think the number, this was Joshua that said this, only 20% of people, really need or have the appetite for a garbled circuit style privacy endeavor right now. So let's not forget that we are one of the cheapest chains out there. It's fast. And so privacy isn't our only angle. I know that's the narrative right now, globally, we'll say, with crypto. And it's the one that we're trying to tap people into our pipeline for. But let's not forget that when that dust settles, if it ever does, that there's more to offer here with just the speed and the, how cheap V2 is. You have any thoughts on that, Soren?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I'll repeat what I've said previously. I think people need to put the PPN thing in the rearview mirror. I understand, and everyone understand what was the missing piece with PPN was privacy. We now got privacy, so PPN would seem to be a nice slam dunk now. But there's just so much effort going into privacy that, yeah, if a PPN opportunity landed in someone's lab, in the team's lab, I'm sure they could execute it, and we might see things along that front. But I don't see any point. Still, I'm still of the opinion I don't see any point in spending a whole lot of resources on it at this stage. Yeah. Once privacy has sort of settled and we built out the ecosystem and built out, more importantly, our ambassador cohort, and we got business development going on in all sorts of places, then that might we can always go back and revisit that. The team will have blueprints on how to do this. So it's not a complete waste, but it also never really took off. And it's safe to say that. So
I like that Shahaf chose to hit on tokenomics first, because I think that's one of the most difficult to understand, most divisive issues that the community has right now. So I'm gonna point back at this, and specifically the 3 bullet points here. You guys should all be able to read those. So it's an interesting way of looking at it. If the inflation is purpose-driven and used for growth, it is good. You invest 1 COTI to receive an impact of 10 COTI down the road as you grow the network. So interesting strategy there. I'm sure there's a million different thoughts on this, but I'm kind of hoping to light up the comments with what you guys think about Shahaf's talk about tokenomics here. I'm sure that most of you who are in the room right now have read it. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think we need to keep in mind here, Tracer, that COTI V2, as was laid out in the white paper, would not have been possible without the tokenomics. It's simple math. You can't. You need to finance V2. And there's nothing to finance it unless you go out and get a lot of VC money, or you change the tokenomics, because V2 needs to have super low transaction fees. So, and we're a long way away from being self-sustaining just on transaction fees. So, I don't have any issue with tokenomics. I understand a lot of people do, and that's fair enough. And I'm happy that Shahaf mentioned it. So tokenomics are viewed by most in today's terms and not in future utility. Yeah, no, it's a good comment from Eli, as always, obviously. There's a meaning, that there's a purpose to the madness, if you like, to use a popular expression. So definitely I agree with that. I was interested to see actually Shahaf's comment about the, you just scrolled over it now, about the governance vote that we had a while back on the boost for G-COTI. I'm in total disagreement with what he writes there. I don't think there's any sentiment in the community to revisit this. I think there are 1 or 2 in the community that are rather loud about it.
Yeah.
fair enough. They're allowed to have their opinions, but I don't see. I mean, we can have another 10 community or governance votes on this if we want. I don't think it's going to change anything because I don't think there's any sentiment to change it. So maybe Shahaf knows something that we don't. Fair enough. He probably does. He probably knows lots of things that we don't know, but I don't see anything in the community that suggests people are interested in changing this. So,
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It seems to be the same thing over and over by, well, one person so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't even
a
feel
comment from
comfortable
Stefan.
commenting on this, man.
Yeah, I have no issue with tokenomics. I have an issue with the adoption as it stands right now. Yeah, I mean, the thing with adoption, and we hear it from a lot of different places in the community. We want adoption. We want adoption. That's all good. We are going to get adoption, but how much do you want, and how quickly do you want? Put some numbers and some details against it. Then we have a discussion around it. Yeah, the distances we've come in the 3 months since we launched mainnet are quite staggering. We have a very, very interesting ecosystem already. Still a lot of things missing, obviously, but I think we've come a long way already.
Yeah, I get the comment. I get it. It's down to transactions now in terms of adoption. I think what people are talking about, and it is only 3 months. I'll continue to say this, and people will argue with me that I'm being PR friendly or whatever they want to say. I'm happy right now with where we are for 3 months. Like 3 months isn't very long. I think that yes, we have a bunch of partnerships that aren't actively using the network yet, but it has only been 3 months. And, people want to see this thing working before they dive in with both feet, right? So I don't know, man. I'm happy. I think it's really, really early. I think, I don't think, to me, it's less about the market. I just want to see what we're doing by the end of this year and see what's cooking in terms of transactions, etc.
Yeah, and I think you pointed to it more than once. We want to see the privacy on demand. We want to see that in terms of Axela and Lava network and people like that. And I'd hoped we would have seen a little bit of an update from Shahaf, but that would be a follow-up question certainly from me. Where are we in terms of getting those guys integrated? I would have loved to see the MetaMask snap. I get the feeling the wait is not going to be long. I think it's quite close as far as I can tell. But definitely those would be my sort of follow-up questions because that's where we can start to get a little bit more of a feel for how this plays with the general Web3 community.
What are your thoughts on the airdrop, Soren? I know that
I'm super happy with it. I'm super happy with it because I got way more than I deserved. So I can't be other than happy with that. But jokes aside, I did get more. I mean, I'm not joking that I got more than I deserved. But I do understand people that were a little bit upset about it. I totally do. I don't have a formula or a clever answer to how we have to arrange airdrops in the future, other than to say that it seems like better off we don't do airdrops because they always create a lot of fuss and a lot of unhappy people. But for sure, we have to acknowledge, and I think Shahaf does that as well, that there were people who didn't get what they thought they deserved. But at the same time, he says, tough luck.
And of course you and I, and any community member, they don't have the insight that COTI does on this. But from the bits and pieces that I could put together through DMs and stuff, it seemed like the airdrop was weighted in terms of how many fees you paid was how. And this is a really simplistic view or way of looking at it, but it seems the more fees you pay to the treasury, so early withdrawal, penalties, etc., weighted your airdrop higher. I could be wrong, but so what's frustrated people is some of the people who, you know, maybe had to liquidate, move their assets and stuff. They saw a pretty good airdrop because they paid a lot of fees to, you know, get out of a 365 or a 360 or whatever. So, you know, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I think that's what really frustrated some people. Did we get the program wrong? The program design was sound for our needs. So, you know, I think this is going to be one of those things that will be debated, but it's not something that you can really roll back. So I guess it is what it is. But what are your guys' thoughts? Did you guys try to break this down? Do you think what I said is correct, or, you know? Expected comments on this, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stefanos is definitely somewhat right here. If you had transaction fees or early withdrawal penalty fees, that was, as you mentioned as well, Tracer, that was a major driver for this.
I've never seen airdrop do anything good for anyone. Yeah, unless you sell it immediately. I'm not talking about our ecosystem. I'm talking about other things that maybe I got hurt on. Maybe you guys can guess what that is. Oh boy. So the net airdrop for those who got a bit higher, it sort of evens out. What? It's my Greek friend. Yeah.
It's Greek. We're into Greek math now. Well, fair enough. They invented it. They invented math, so it's all right.
It's good. It's good to see you here, Steph. Man, I have been trying to get this guy on a show for 3 years now. Drives me crazy.
I mean, we got Eli and Stefanos here. It's an all-star lineup.
Yeah, it is. But it's great to have you guys in the comments, anyways. So yeah, that airdrop thing. You know what? It's like what Eli said, though, right? There is not everybody is ever going to be happy, ever, and it's just like the 1600% thing. The loudest voices often will be the ones who are heard, right? This is what Soren talked about. Treasury issues, yeah,
and the treasury issue, by the way, is equally. I think 99% of all our users had no issues with Treasury 2.0, but 1% did, and they were very loud about it, and rightly so. But even 1% is a massive workload, both for the team and for the admins, and it's very easy for that to turn into this Treasury 2.0 didn't really work the way we wanted it to. Absolutely, I'm totally with Shahaf on this. It's not good, even if it was only 1 or 2 or 3%, whatever it was. It was too much, and we don't want to be spending all our time fixing bugs and doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was definitely a disappointment. Let's see if it gets any better with a new treasury that's built from scratch. And his comment on that none of the issues was caused by COTI v2. Actually, quite a lot of the issues were caused by the what do you call that wallet?
Viper. Is that what you're talking about, or MetaMask? What are you talking about?
No, the Solana wallet.
Oh, Phantom. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the people who had issues were people who had Phantom extensions on their desktop.
I think the Phantom conflict is more of it doesn't allow you to see COTI.io. I don't think that Phantom extension was causing treasury issues, unless I'm wrong on that. But I think there's something about the Phantom wallet that the countermeasures that COTI uses for the website doesn't like, and so it just doesn't allow you to see it.
Yeah,
Am I?
basically, something to do with bot security and to enable those who have Phantom in their Chrome and expose the service to potential DDoS or not. So yeah, there was basically some technical things going on in the background where some of the security layers that we had from third-party vendors were conflicting with the Phantom stuff, and we could have disabled those, and everything would have run smooth. But then we would have exposed the whole network to potentially a DDoS.
So yeah, so Treasury is going to be completely overhauled before we let node operators take over, which is around when they're going to open the Treasury for US.
Yeah,
So
we needed to be good before Eli comes in with his big COTI bags. Yeah, because once he starts moaning about his big COTI bags and he can't get access to them, then we're in real trouble. So no, I think it's all going to collide. So they're going to build. They're busy now building a treasury from scratch, and we're going to have the nodes and the nodes ecosystem and all that, and Geo1 fencing. So hopefully most of this will come all at the right time.
I can see why a lot of people are concerned about COTI's runway, given where token price is right now and how most projects fund their ecosystems. This was a bit of an interesting comment, and for those of us who have been around for many years, it's the same thing that we've been hearing since the beginning. So yeah. I don't know what you think about that, Soren, but this was just, for us who've been here for a long time, this is what we already knew. I didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether Shah have ever confirmed this. I think actually he did confirm it once a long time ago. But they do have this in-house trading algo that basically generates income for them. Whether it's a myth or whether Shahaf mentioned it himself, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm quite sure he mentioned it a long while back, many years ago.
I believe this is what he's hinting at here with hedge, right?
So basically, they're using the capital they've raised, and they've hedged, they've traded in the market and done well with that.
Now, if there's anything that I've seen for the past 5+ years, is that it's definitely a lean team, and that's why they have a few people doing so many different things. You look at somebody like Vlad, right? He's wearing a bunch of different hats, so all the way from Vlad to then you look at Joshua now, like, dude, that guy is like wearing 10 different hats.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a source of criticism, but it's an interesting strategy. I mean, you can't deny this statement here. We have been through this before.
COTI's been through it many times before, and it's never been an issue, and I don't think it'll be an issue this time around as well. Not that I know something that nobody else knows, but we can go by track record is all I'm really that I have in my mind, and their track record's better than pretty much everyone else's. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what too much. I'm not sure what I can comment too much on this. I would say everybody read that for yourselves, right? I will definitely complain.
Which part?
The 8th question here. Hate to see them spread so thin. Maybe ambassadors can be onboarded deeper. Yes?
Yeah, and that's underway, Eli. There is actually something underway on that front. We can't tell you about it, but there's something coming on that front.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about it, Søren. You should tell me about it.
I'd tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
All right. Is there anything else in this document that you wanted to hit on?
No, it just I was thinking we had the guy who did the video the other day dealing with the CBDCs, and CBDCs also mentioned by Shahaf in his blog. I just wanted a couple of comments on CBDCs. Of course you can, Elon. Yeah, just a couple of comments on it. Just my own personal opinion. Bank of Israel was nice, but could have been a fluke. Now we got Bank of Israel and the European Central Bank. This is no longer a fluke, but it's also not a trend yet. But it's something more interesting than a fluke. Both of these projects are managed by the BIS Innovation Hub. And if it's seen as if COTI is offering a useful solution, then I think we can expect more of these, in which case it will be a trend. So that's one thing that I like about it. And this is mainly to the guy who did the videos, because I've been wanting to comment on it. The second thing I like about it is that, and this is a lot of people are not necessarily aware of this, is that banks have actually been using garbled circuits for decades. Banks have been, not all banks, but quite a few banks are using garbled circuits, the sort of Web 1 version, the non-blockchain version. So actually garbled circuits is not a foreign concept for most banks, which is also a good thing. What I'm worried about with CBDCs is that the politics of it. Yeah, so politics can do two things. They can get things delayed and take very long. And also politics can play in that if the European Central Bank wants to offer, they got everything lined up, and all of a sudden the Germans or the French, who are like the most powerful people in the EU, come in and say, well, our constituents need a chunk of the cake, so give us that one, we'll come up with a solution to it. And all of a sudden, certain aspects of the CBDC will not go to who's actually offering the best solution, but they'll go to someone either because they're German or French or whatever it may, Italian or whatever it may be. So those are the sorts of aspects I'm a little bit worried about. And actually, the thing I'm mostly worried about, which not many people talk about, is that garbled circuits, as what we're offering, the Web3 version of garbled circuits, still has a bit of a ways to go to be de-risked. And what do we talk about when we say de-risked? Look at CK, look at TEAS, look at FHE. They're largely open source. Everyone can build their own CKs and TEAS and FHE, but nobody can build their own garbled circuits. So those other technologies are de-risked and garbled circuits is not. And I think we need, in my personal opinion, we need to think about how do we proliferate garbled circuits more, whether it's we let people use our technology on a license basis, or whether we open source it, or loads of ways we can do that. But we need to have more people competing with the same solution as we do. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to many people, but that's what de-risks it. Yeah, I think it could be a huge stumbling block if the European Central Bank uses a technology that's only available in one place, and nobody else knows how to use it. So, just some thoughts on that.
I wish Eli was here right now, because this is something I kind of wanted to talk about. So yeah, if you can.
Yeah, and I want to comment on what Eli says there, Tracer. Sorry for jumping in over you. it is great if the people who are in power and have influence. It's super duper great if they hear 20 people talking about garbage circuits. What is not great is that if those 20 people have all heard it from COTI. You get my point? It's great if they're much better if those people have heard it from 20 different sources, and few of them are COTI and few of them are someone else and someone else. It can't all be coming from one source. We're not going to get it proliferated quick enough that way. So he's right. It isn't much more in people's minds, and it's much more on the agenda now because of the work we've done ourselves. But this needs to go much faster, in my opinion.
I think it's interesting because there's this opinion that, and you'll see this a lot, that, oh, nobody's talking about COTI. Nobody knows about COTI. But I think it's a bit of an interesting strategy. I think that COTI has opted to, it's not a retail strategy. They've opted to kind of, with what they're doing with all these other institutions and the ECB, etc. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. But it seems like they're trying to go after this a different way, right? Whereas when we look at it, we're looking at, well, where's the retail, And it's like, well, the retail isn't here yet, and that's kind of the strategy. Let me send Eli this link really quickly here.
Yeah, people are judging. People are saying nobody talks about COTI because it doesn't show up in their Twitter feed. Yeah, let's just call it what it is. I'm also looking, and I'm also, I don't see anyone talking about COTI in my Twitter, about garbage circuits in my Twitter feed. But that's not what drives institutional adoption. Yeah, and I think we can all agree on that as well. Institutional adoptions are driven by people who spend very, very little time on Twitter. And they certainly don't look for shills for garbage circuits. They rely on having face-to-face conversations at conferences, roundtables, high-level meetups, whatever you.
That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's where COTI is driving this. They're not driving popularity contests on Twitter. Yeah. So I think we need to separate the two things. Yes, it'd be great to see more people shill garbage circuits on Twitter, but that's not what COTI is doing at all. Yeah, that's what we do as ambassadors and community members and what have you, but not. Hey, Eli.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's going well. Are you on your way back from California, eh?
No, I'm going deeper in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've got my chauffeur, so it's an interesting conversation you have, and I just wanted to say that, the central banks, if we're going to have a CBDC, which I think all stablecoins are, it's better to have a privacy layer to them, because right now we don't. It's mandatory that they don't have privacy, they don't have clawbacks, they don't have any of the features that we need as citizens of every different country is going to be subject to this. I think privacy is going to be more important than it's ever been, honestly.
No, I couldn't agree more. And don't you also agree that, this is not a battle that's fought on Twitter or X, yeah? This is a battle that's fought.
We honestly, yeah, we don't really make that big of a difference, honestly. I mean, if you look at, I know I talk about XRP a lot, the battle that Ripple has fought, yeah, between all the Bitcoin maximalists and whatnot, they sit there and argue, but realistically, they're getting adoption at a, institutional level, and we don't hear about any of it. It doesn't matter to us yet. You definitely want to have that built. You don't want a bunch of people on Twitter making decisions, because let's be honest, most people are idiots, including myself. No, we don't. We're not the ones that are going to be building at an institutional level. It's just not how it works.
No, and I think it's an important distinction. It's nice to see when we get mentioned by big accounts on Twitter or X or stuff like that. But that's not what's going to make the Central Bank of Honduras invite COTI in for a sandbox. They couldn't care less about Twitter. They care about the technology and whether they think it might be a fit for what they're building. Yeah,
Right.
it's nothing to do with Twitter. And there is this approach from COTI that's very much along those lines, rather than having big accounts talk up the concept on X.
Yeah, and I personally, it's when you start seeing the big accounts that are constantly shilling a project, that's usually at the top of their market, and they're on the downswing from there on out. So for me personally, this is my third cycle in crypto. I've seen the pattern happen. When nobody's talking about your project's still around, still building. That's a good sign. When you have Rand Nooner from Banter start talking about your project, usually a pretty good idea to sell that.
Yeah. When Rand and Bitboy starts shilling you, then you're in trouble.
Yes. That's just my experience. Yes, I will shit on people all day long for doing that to their community.
Yeah, no, I mean, they are the worst of the worst, aren't they? Really.
They are.
So how long are you going to be in California for, my friend?
A week.
Okay. So it was a long drive, but at least you're going to be there for some time.
Yeah, I hate it already. So I like the cold. I like the mountains.
Yeah, it's too hot for you. Huh?
Yeah, it was 104 yesterday when we came through Las Vegas. So
that's pretty hot.
Yeah, we're going through Tehachapi right now. All the original wind turbines are. This is a big wind turbine valley here. So.
All right, cool. But yeah, do drive safely.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the week's events, COTI related?
Well, I do have some. It sucks what everybody's going through, and it's not just the COTI team. There's a lot of people that are affected all over the region, and I unfortunately think it's going to happen around the world. There's going to be a lot of unfortunate events transpire, but I think that at the end of it, hopefully it's short-lived and everybody comes out unscathed for the most part. I'm not a big fan of war myself at all. I've got family that's military, and affects everybody, and I think there's a better way to go about things personally.
No, I mean, it's certainly one of these things that it can escalate, but let's all hope that it doesn't. I think we'll be a little bit.
It's heartbreaking. There's a lot of there's a lot of innocent people that are affected right now, and it's heartbreaking.
It is. Couldn't agree more. We'll be a little bit wiser in the coming days, whether things are going to escalate or not.
As far as crypto and stuff goes, and for anybody listening, these things pass. The fear is driving all the markets right now, and if you're worried about the price of COTI bought higher, and you're worried about it being down, just wait. I've seen this come and go. I watched oil go negative $70 a barrel, up to $150 a barrel or whatever it was. I think things move, and if you just shut your computer off for a week or two, come back, probably be fine.
Yeah, I think it's the old, don't overinvest. Don't invest money that you're going to need. And don't play with leverage. And I think, those two categories aside, I think everyone should rest very easily. COTI ain't going anywhere. The fundamentals are still great, and they're still improving.
And they're going to print money like crazy right now. I mean, like nothing drives debt like war. So if you came into crypto to make money, just give it a minute. They will print money. They will print a lot of money.
Of course, you can see all the things going on in the background. The big boys are still buying whatever they can get their hands on. So,
the Middle East stock markets are all up right now. They're all surging, which is, the opposite of what you think would happen. So I'm not.
Yeah, I checked when you commented on it to me earlier. I checked the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. It was up 5% today,
It's crazy.
which is huge for a stock exchange, for an index like that. It's very big, up 5%.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of money that's tossed around in war, and it's going to drive a lot of economies, unfortunately. It is what it is. So
Absolutely.
Back in the day, I used to take near the end of every show, I used to try to trigger Ship. But since Eli's here, I'm going to try to trigger you because there's a reason for this. But last week you said that I went a little too easy on one of the projects that we were talking about. Do you remember that? He's got connection issues, eh? So we were planning to have a show about COTI agents this past Thursday. And we've decided to stand down for about a month to give them some time. There's been some communication in the background there. So we're waiting to see what happens. I have not, as a community member here, I have not claimed my the reissued tokens yet. I'm waiting to see what happens. But that's what's going on with COTI agents on my end and on our end. I know Soren might have been there for that. Eli said he might jump in. So we're going to give them a little more time and see what they're up to. I find it interesting that they redeployed on base, but now they've launched some products for V2, which I haven't looked at yet. So probably going to do a little more research on that and let you know about that in a bit.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit confused about what they're doing, Tracer. And I think you are as well. I think everyone is. But yeah, let's give them the chance to find their feet. But you're absolutely right. We're not going to forget about this. We will come back to it. I think we owe that to ourselves. We owe it to the community at large.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Eli's having trouble there with his connection.
Yeah, he's out in windmill country, so he's probably getting disturbances from the windmills.
Anything else you wanted to talk about before we kick this one off, sir?
No, I think that's pretty much it. You're back, Eli.
Yeah, for a minute. We'll see how it goes.
Did you hear what I said there at all?
I didn't know, but I can rewatch it later, or you give me a real quick recap.
Yeah, well, you had said last week that I wasn't harsh enough on one of the projects we were talking about. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah, and you said you might join me on Thursday. What I said is we're going to give him a little bit more time. There's been some conversation in the background. But your thoughts on this,
Well, I think that a lot of projects, either they get it over their head, they think it's going to be easy to do a project. You have an idea, you have a little bit of coding experience, so you just do it, and then the project starts taking off, and something happens. Maybe you lose liquidity or whatever, it was exploited, and you go quiet. You don't say anything. That's a horrible way to handle something. It's just as bad as rugging the rest of your community, or you do it intentionally. Which I think is a pretty shitty thing to do. Happens all the time in crypto. But either way, if you're going to be quiet about it, I think you're just as guilty of screwing people over. Whether you did it intentionally or unintentionally, at least open up your mouth and say something. Be a little better to your community. But as far as I'm concerned in crypto, usually if it looks like a scam, it generally is.
What's harder, what makes this harder to understand for me is that we know that they have a massive developer team behind them. So, which makes it even harder to understand why they've handled this the way they have, which is almost not handling it. I get that they went and redeployed on base and stuff, so they did, but I mean, the communication is just so bad. So that's what.
So I hear a lot of. I don't know the developer how many developers they have and who their developers are. But a lot of projects will say they have developers when really it's like, somebody running an app. Okay. Easy A does it with a lot of different projects. They'll say, we have 100,000 developers. Okay. Maybe 500,000 on Ethereum, whatever. But really, they don't actually have that many developers. What they have is people that are like poking around on an app that somebody had created that lets you do some light coding. Okay, now you got 500,000 developers, and you really don't. You have 500,000 people that are using an app, say that they're developers. That's not an actual coder. That's not a developer. So I don't trust when somebody says we have a huge development team. I never believed it.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think the thing that Tracer refers to with COTI agents is that it's actually a significant setup, and people from COTI have actually been on the ground and verified it on the ground. It's not a garage setup. Makes it look like they're in a $20,000 a month office suite somewhere swanky or anything like that. It is a proper setup, and a lot of people behind. It's not a small organization. So, and that's what makes this even more puzzling, because really they've handled it like a bunch of amateurs. And to your comment, Eli, if it smells, walks, quacks, talks like a scam, it is most likely one. But yeah, I'm glad to hear, Tracer, that you've got a little bit of communication going now, that we can hopefully go back and revisit this with a more positive tone in a few weeks from now.
Just come talk to us and be honest. Like, it's not a big deal. It's all it takes. Jeez. Yeah. It's so simple. It's the same thing that, we had been saying to Shaf and the team. Just come talk to us and be honest. Like, it's so simple. Drives me nuts, man. Drives me nuts.
I will say,
blah, 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 whatever, man. Just do it. Be different. It's not hard.
I was part of this looking at this project Paribus built on Cardano, and I called their team out for being a scam. Nobody wanted to believe me, and boy, they rugged the hell out of that whole community, and they swore up and down that they had all these developers, they had all this adoption, and and then they basically pull a pretty common rug pull tactic. I've been around this space long enough, I could see it coming. Nobody wanted to believe me. And, I don't know if you're familiar with that project or not, but they're a bunch of lowlifes. They've scammed their community, and, I have no problem calling them out for it. And I feel bad for folks. I know there's one of their members that put his entire life savings in that project. Entire life savings. Either he's part of the scam, or he's just really slow on the uptake. I feel bad either way.
No, and it is terrible, and we have way too much of this, and that's why we see everything is viewed through the lens of, we will assume it's a scam long before we assume it's not a scam.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody needs to be very conscious.
We are basically primed. We're primed for this because we see so much of it.
Yeah, crypto, unfortunately, is just, there's more scams than not scams in the space, and we should get called out for it, and the cream should rise to the top. And I'm a little skeptical of where I put my money. I feel pretty confident in COTI myself. Just at the background of the team, and then the amount that they've actually accomplished, I do feel good. And the people that are talking about it, you don't get on the BIS's radar, you don't get on the ECB's radar by being garbage. I'm sorry, it's just it's not how that works. You don't,
like we said earlier. Once is a fluke, twice is something other than a fluke. It's not a trend yet, but it's getting there.
Right. Yeah. So for those of you guys that are listening and worried about COTI, I think you might want to worry about some of the other projects you're holding a little bit more than
than this one. I mean, like everything's down right now. So.
Oh, looking horrible everywhere. But
like Shahab said, you know, they've been through this a bunch of times, but I think we have something really, really special here. And what I love about it is that it's not just enterprise payments anymore. It's everything. And yes, like I said earlier, we're pushing the garbled circuits and the privacy, but V2, privacy doesn't have to be a thing. So adoption can come from anywhere. Yeah, we want the big fancy, you know, stuff right now, but I mean, take some time to build this out. We're the cheapest thing around. Who said that makes base blush? Was that you, Soren? Our fees were so cheap that it makes
no, I think it was
maybe that was COTI News.
That
COTI News, maybe.
That wasn't me. I'd like to have.
I think it was COTI
I'd like
News,
to have good comments, but I don't. So. Yeah.
You have a safe trip, sir. We're at the hour. So before we kick you out of here, is there anything you wanted to say in the end?
No, I'm not a religious person at all, but I do have a lot of people in my mind right now, and I feel bad for, you know, just so many people. You know, there's kids, husbands, wives, you know, families that didn't ask for any of this stuff. And it affects not just countries that are involved. There is a ripple effect going around the world right now, and I feel bad for a lot of folks. So.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. Echo.
Yeah.
So listen, you have a safe trip, Eli, and by the time we talk to you next Sunday, maybe you're back in Montana.
We'll see. I'll see if I can get out of California.
In one piece, maybe.
In one piece, probably. Yeah.
We'll see. You guys have a
Thanks
good day.
for popping in, man.
Oh, yeah,
you too,
sure.
buddy. You too, buddy.
Better.
Yeah. Thanks, Eli, for hanging out. Always a pleasure.
He's great,
Soren,
isn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome. Good to see you again. Thank you for your weekly updates. They are awesome.
Thank you for what you're about to show us something now. Thank you very much for that. That made
a little bit of fun.
That made my Friday night. You're a wizard with these things, and you're amazing in so many things. But this in particular, I love it. So thanks for tonight. Thanks for everyone who came in with their questions and who listened in to us. We always appreciate it. Thanks to Stefanos for showing up as well. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, and you know this kind of what you're talking about here. I always come back to what Shahab said years ago when it looked like he was going into the lion's den. And he was like, "We fear no man, sir." And it's like, you know, we just kind of have to have that you know, outlook sometimes. Some of these accounts, they post things and they think they're just, it's some of the things that are said right now are just completely ridiculous. And when you start poking at me or my friends personally, well, now it's time to have a little bit of fun with it. So, but anyways, this is us. We are COTI Confidential. This is a community initiative where we want everybody from the community to come in and talk, ask questions. This is for you guys. We're going to keep it going. It's season 2. It's 22 episodes. We're not going anywhere. And no matter what you guys say from coast to coast and around the world, it's podcast time. See you on the next.
Static crackles, mic check on the line. COTI network rising, stars gonna shine. Princess talk big, but her words are a mime. She's the queen of nothing. It's podcast time. It's podcast time. We're taking the throne. COTI's got the crown. Yeah, we're full blown. Princess in the corner with a busted tone. We're the kings of the mic in a league of our own. Parade, got no substance, just a cheap charade. We're here to dominate, no masquerade. Princess got played by the moves we made. It's podcast time, we're taking the throne. COTI's got the crowd. of the mic in a league of our own. She's buffering while we're streaming live, princess fading while we thrive. Every word's a beat, every truth a dive. COTI's cutting edge, sharper than a knife. It's podcast time, we're taking the throne. COTI's got the crown, yeah, we're full blown. Princess in the corner with a busted tone. We're the kings of the mic in a league of our own.